Hi. Hi, Yinka. Yeah, my name is Yinka. um, I'm here to talk about my major project. Okay, let me start by saying I miss Nigerian jollof rice. I still miss Nigerian jollof rice. Because I still find that opportunity. I still look for opportunity to go back to, probably Peckham or Woolwich, to probably look for a nice place to eat my jollof rice, just like it's being cooked by my mom. And I began to wonder. I did a research. I found out that we have over 205,000 Nigerians in the UK, and I started thinking, how are they distributed? So if we have 205,000 Nigerians in the UK, I'm in Greenwich, and I can hardly find Nigerians around me. So how are they distributed? Yeah. so I did a research on that, and I found out that we have almost 14,000 Nigerians in Greenwich alone. 14,000 Nigerians in Greenwich alone. And I began to wonder, I've never even seen a Nigerian restaurant in Greenwich. So how do these Nigerians eat Nigerian food? So I started looking out for, okay, which other areas do we have large group of Nigerians? And I saw South Hawk, 11,000 Nigerians, Barking and Dagenham, like 9,000. And I'm like, wow, these are opportunities for Nigerians around that vicinity. If you have as many people as that, and how do they connect to their roots, to Nigerian food? And I realized they still have Nigerians in Thamesmead, Abbeywood, Woolwich, Old Kent Road, Erith, Camberwell, Lewisham, and I'm like, this is a vast opportunity for me, especially on this project, to reach out to a lot of people. And since we have 14,000 Nigerians in Greenwich alone, I think I will only focus my attention on Greenwich for now, as it's a huge market for me. So I now got to this point, can I order online? Of course, we have lots of Nigerian restaurants, thriving in the UK. And recently, there's been an increase in opening of Nigerian restaurant, because the majority of our ingredients cannot be found on shelves on major supermarkets in the UK. And can I order online? Yes, of course you can order online. In fact, if you run a search on Google or run a search on DuckDuckGo, you can find out that it will only point you to restaurants around, and restaurant food, it's always synthesized. You can't customize it, and somehow it's a bit expensive because it's selling plates. And you can imagine how much a plate of fried rice or a plate of pounded yam is in the UK. But of course, once we begin to think about homemade food, why homemade food? Homemade food is customizable. You can cook. Some of us have dietary, advice, like we are running away from some particular types of food because ingredients and all that, which we react to. We can customize it. If you have someone to cook it for you, you can actually say, can you take this ingredient out of it? Can you add this? Can you put that? So it's customizable. It's economical, because if I'm ordering a bowl of egusi soup, for instance, maybe for £10, and I can eat it maybe like twice, or just take a scoop, keep in the fridge, and probably tomorrow have another meal on that £10. Whereas if I go to the restaurant, I can spend like £15 on a plate, and actually go with some friends and still pay for some of my friends. It's economical cooking homemade food, and it's much healthier. Like I said before, you can talk about your health implications with the person that is cooking, probably take away some ingredients that might affect your health. And just like the normal saying, everyone prefer homemade cookies, compared to store, the ones that is in the store. And why? We all have our reasons, But guess what? Someone around you can cook. That favorite meal, that Nigerian food. Even if you're not Nigerian, I believe we can have a taste, an opportunity for every one of us to have a taste of Nigerian food. We have someone around you that can cook. Imagine we have 14,000 Nigerians. Out of 14,000 Nigerians, I know we'll have, because we are very good close, like 5,000, the barest minimum, that can cook good food. So what if there's an online peer-to-peer platform to order fresh Nigerian homemade food? Peer-to-peer in the sense that when you order from the restaurant, they have certain protocols, they already have their standards. You have to play by the rules. You can't customize it. But if it's peer-to-peer, like I'm speaking with a direct person and I'm listing up my ingredients, I can put special notes on my order, and it's more like one-on-one. The person can actually focus on my food and give me the best quality therein. So imagine you craving for a taste of the Nigerian food. The platform connects you with home chefs near you who can cook the meal and deliver to you. Like you're craving from like pounded yam with egusi soup with some beef. You can actually think like someone is around the corner that can cook this for me and have it delivered to me. Just like that. So cultural context, we talk about, there's been an increase in African food recently. Like I said, prior to this time, our restaurants have had challenges because our ingredients to making our foods are not readily available. Most of the times they are being imported, and by the time you factor in the cost of bringing in the seasoning and all that, the ingredients, you want to factor it because you want to make profit. So you end up, the restaurant food in the restaurant end up being expensive for an average Nigerian person and in the UK. So, and our food, the reason why we go to restaurants is because we want to connect with some of our countrymen, and share. Our food is more like it maintains connections with our heritage. We build communities at the end of the day. We don't just go to the restaurants to eat. We build communities in that sense. So I'm also aiming that at the end of this project, it's going to be a project that will end up building communities of people around you, probably food lovers, might not just be just Nigerians, but so something that connects us together, like food, intercontinental food. Then talking about the business context, how did we evolve from restaurants to having to order food online? During the coronavirus pandemic, a lot of people that had culinary skills, a lot of businesses were created within that period, work from home, and a lot of people that knew how to cook started cooking for people in their environment, for their friends, family and friends. Then some turned into businesses, some, because it's an hobby for some people, they never really thought about monetizing it. But over time, when the pandemic started hitting hard, there was need for people to start monetizing their skills. So when you have a lot of people cooking, okay, when you have these skills, you know that there's an opportunity for you to earn extra income. Even if you have another job that you're doing, it's possible for you to add that skills to it. When you imagine you have number of Nigerians around you that you can sell to and make additional income. So my project aims to create opportunities for people with culinary skills to earn extra income from home by connecting them with customers who need their services per time. So whether you want to share a meal with your family or friends, or just want to brag that you have access to Nigerian food, you can always get someone around you to cook the meal. Then we have competitors. I searched to look at a particular businesses that run this kind of model, but I could only get one. Others are just restaurant-based, but not one that have come very close to what trend, except this homecookeduk.com. It's a platform that enables people to purchase fresh, home-cooked food. But their business model is different. And what they do is, for the customers, it's subscription-based for the customers. If you need Nigerian food, there's a certain amount of money. You pick a plan that you pay weekly. If it's £19, for instance, there's a particular portion of food that you can order for. If maybe there's a £30 per week, there's a 40. So you pick a plan where you already have the menu and all that. So the other one is what'scooking.com. is not in the UK. It's India, but I don't know if it's running at the moment. So revenue generation is a commission-based business model. Now we are not charging the customers like the other, like the Homecooked UK. We only take a percentage of the transaction that goes in between the home chef and the customers. So strengths and weaknesses. Our strength is a peer-to-peer platform, so it's easy for people to connect with each other. And please note, all transactions will be done on the website. So peer-to-peer platform, which means that it's easy for people to connect with each other, the buyer and the seller. Then it's cheaper than the restaurant food. It's really cheaper than restaurant because you might be ordering in bulk. And if you're ordering in bulk, you're saving some money. Low overhead cost. The home chef does not need to go and set up an office space because he wants to start an home chef or home cooking business. Even for us as a business, we are just running everything online, trying to connect both parties together. Not so many competition here, as I already mentioned that. I have an experience in managing an e-hailing platform, so I have some background knowledge on how to connect buyers and sellers together on a platform, managing their requests and meeting the user expectations. Then our weaknesses, quality assurance. How do we maintain the quality of the food that is being prepared for our customers, and how do we ensure that they keep to safety, keep all the safety regulations and all that, and it's being prepared hygienically. So that's one of the weaknesses. An inconsistency on home chefs. The home chef, you might cook very good food this time, but when you get a second order, it might not be, maybe you might not be able to meet up to expectations. It might not be as tasty as the initial order, and it might cause like the customers. It might create an impact, negative impact on the customers to start coming back to the website. So the documentation, regulations, what are those places that we need to get registered authorities? Then the opportunities, build communities, scale. We'll be building communities with it, and in the long run, we'll scale to accommodate other cuisines. We expand beyond London, and it will definitely have a learning platform for people that want to cook and learn how to cook Nigerian food. Threats, you have regulatory inconsistency, I talked about that, ensuring high quality food, and home shelves registration and licensing approvals. We have to, as part of the threats that we might be facing. Well, at the end of this, I no longer miss Nigerian jollof rice. If I'm able to put all this in place, no one will ever miss Nigerian jollof rice, no one will ever miss Nigerian delicacies. And thank you for.
Thanks very much, Yunke. That was really good and full presentation. I think you've done some really good research work there, which is just as well, because this project is going to require quite a lot of research, I think. You mentioned things like there's a legal dimension to this, the regulations for can home cooks actually sell from their kitchens. So you need to go through all of that kind of stuff and just make sure that's all okay. I think my one, it's not really a concern, but I think that the kind of pivot point on this is that this is not just a website, this is the building of a community, and actually without that community the website doesn't work. So really the focus has to be on developing the network of home cooks, and obviously the website then does the job of matching those up with customers. But without that network in the first place, there's nothing. So I think that has to be a kind of focus of the development of this. You need to develop that network in tandem with the website. But other than that, I think you've been through this and you've done loads of work and you've done loads of research and you know all the questions. You don't quite know yet all the answers, but I'm sure you're working towards those. And therefore, I love the idea. I don't have any major issues with it, and I have confidence that you can resolve it.
I agree. I'll just shut up and I'm just going to everything. No, I love the presentation. It made me hungry now. I have never eaten Nigerian food, I don't think, but now I want to. So it worked. No, a really good presentation. I'm really impressed with how far you've got into researching all the different aspects of it. So I think that's what gives you a really great start now, because you're aware of it all, and it is quite complex. And I worry about you a bit, to be honest, because there's so many aspects to this. And the community building aspect together with the love for home cooked food is just like one of those really nice things that I think you just have to make it work somehow. Because it'll be really nice. I think the first step, I think, if you've just realised how many Nigerians there are in Greenwich, I do think find them, hunt them down. No, I'm sure there's festivals and there's certain events, there's certain bits
Yeah,
where,
yeah,
you know,
big
where it's
Christmas,
easy to mingle. But I do think that'd be the first really useful step for you to just try to talk to some people, because if you get just a few people who go, yeah, well, what a brilliant idea, that's enough for starters. And so I think you've got a lot of work ahead of you, but I think it'd be a brilliant site.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you. Okay, Anjan.